Cody, how are you?
Good, man. Finished my last sparring session. I was just like checking my face. I'm like, yeah, nothing's broken. Perfect.
How was that?
It was great, man. I feel good. I feel really good. I'm just like probably had the. I mean, that's what you want. You know what I mean? Like your best 2 rounds to be right at the end of your camp. You know, there's a lot of stuff like I've been working on, like things that have been slowly coming together. I do one thing right, one thing wrong, one thing right, one thing wrong. I go back and correct it. You know, I film all my sessions. I'm really methodical. You know what I mean? I don't spar just to like see how tough I am. I want to, you know what I mean? I want to test my cardio. I want to know what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong, and everything just came together. So I feel really good about it.
11 days out.
Yeah.
How you feeling?
Jacked and tan, and hungry. Yeah, my goal, you know, not only am I gonna kick Douglas de Andrade's ass, but I'm also gonna be more jacked and tan than him.
Before we get to that fight, I want to go back to your fight against Luan, man. It's been about 4 months. Yeah. How did you feel about that performance?
I mean, I fought safe. I fought super safe. Just didn't know anything about the guy. I just knew that he had 10 finishes, you know, all submissions, a couple TKOs, super dangerous on the ground. And, you know what I mean? I was in a situation where it's like, all right, I have really nothing to gain outside of, you know, another win and everything to lose. You know what I mean? If I go out and fucking lose against a debuter, like, it looks bad. So I just fought the most technically savvy that fight that I could. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it was a fan favorite. You know what I mean? But I fought smart, and, you know, I have the capability to do that. Like, I can stick and move against just about anyone. Luan was a tough bastard, man. I beat the hell out of that kid, and he just kept coming forward. So, I mean, at the end of the night, though, like, his face would look like hamburger meat. So, I mean, hopefully he gets a better matchup next time.
Was there anything about him that surprised you during the fight?
Nah, I mean, it surprised me that he kicked like the entire time. You know, he broke my he had like a little fracture in my left arm from like me just checking that kick the exact same way every time, just bang, smacking my forearm. But no, I mean, nothing surprised me. I mean, he was big in the cage. He was really big outside of that. No.
How was it fighting in Brazil?
No, it was. I mean, Brazil was great, right? Brazilian booty, that's a real thing. It was nice. We were on the beach too. It was a beautiful place. But I mean, obviously, then like it's like beautiful. Everyone's real cool, and then you get to the venue and they're like spitting on you and throwing their drinks at you and shit. It was a hostile environment, but I honestly ate it up. Like I was walking out, and like as I'm standing there, like getting ready to walk out, I'm like in the tunnel, and I'm just like sitting there, and like people are just throwing shit at me, and like one guy tried to spit his drink at me. And I'm just like, I want to kill all you motherfuckers. Like, this is like the hostile environment that I really wanted, like, before I got in a fight. I mean, I think some people it might, like, mess with, but I'm like, I'm getting in a fight anyways. Like, I'm already, like, chomping at the bit to, like, you know what I mean? Like, hurt somebody. Like, you guys are just making it a little easier for me.
I think it was during your walkout, or when you got in the cage and you were, like, basically, like, told her how to fuck you, basically.
Yeah, I said fuck you to everyone. At the weigh-ins, too.
Oh, yeah, that's what it was, the weigh-ins.
Yeah, they were, like, chanting Vu Bambo Heyday, and I just, like, went like this, and I was like, fuck you to everyone. I was screaming it, too, like, fuck you. And, like, I think they know what I meant, too, because they were getting pissed.
Well, last time we talked, you said, like, after your fights, you like to fucking go off grid and just kind of do your own thing, go camp or do whatever. Where'd you go? What'd you do?
I went to Missouri. I went snow goose hunting. I did a little duck hunting. I mainly just, you know, I just like seclude myself. Like, I'm not trying to win this fucked up popularity contest that has become the UFC. You know what I mean? Like, I don't give a fuck. I like fighting. I like making money fighting. You know what I mean? If some honest American-made companies want to come and sponsor me and give me money to endorse their product, I'll do it. But at the same time, you know, like, I'm not a fucking salesman. I'm not a marketing guy. I'm a fucking fighter. You know what I mean? I want to fight. Like, I got into the sport because I love the sport and I love the competition. But I'm not into the fucking Instagram, TikTok fucking popularity contest that most of these guys are so into. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, I want to make money so I can set myself up, make good investments, and get the fuck out of society. You know what I mean? Like, just disappear off the grid. Like, that's my long-term goal, you know, and that means I got to knock the shit out of a lot of guys, and Douglas de Andrade is next.
back to back with Brazilians. What the hell's up with that?
I don't know. I mean, they're just like, who's a really, really fucking fucked up matchup that we can give Cody Stamann? No, I mean Douglas makes sense. You know, I honestly thought I'd fight him before now. I thought when I was coming up, I thought I would fight him. So actually, I've watched a ton of film on him even before I signed the contract and stuff. So he's dangerous. You know what I mean? He's dangerous. Obviously, the dude hits hard. Got a ton of knockouts. You know, he's super dangerous. He's never out of a fight. You know, I've seen him get his ass beat a few times and then come back and win. You know, so it's another one of those fights where, I'm going to have to be smart, but I know what I'm getting when I get in there with Douglas de Andrade. This isn't like Juan Lacerda. I've done a ton of film study on Douglas. I have an idea of exactly what, I think he's gonna look for, and I have, A, B, and C on ways to beat him. I'm feeling really confident going into this fight. I feel like mentally, physically, things are just coming together. You know what I mean? I've made the mistakes in my career, I've fixed them, and I'm gonna make another run at the top.
Is this one of those fights where you're gonna stand there and throw leather, or do his power is gonna kind of play a factor, so you have to be smart with it?
Yeah, I mean, you got to be smart whenever you have a guy that can freaking put your lights out, with one shot. But I fought a lot of guys like that. You know what I mean? I fought Song Yadong. That's a guy that puts a lot of people's lights out with one shot. He never hit me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not scared of big punchers. You know what I mean? My counter punching's good. My defense is good. I'm confident in those things. And not only that, but I can crack too. The thing is like with Douglas de Andrade, I think the mistake everybody makes is they're so tentative and they're like worried, they're circling, and they just kind of let him get on his motor and like come forward and go after you. I'm not gonna do that. Like, I'm not gonna fight the same way I fought Juan Lacerda. I mean, I'll tell fucking Douglas de Andrade to his face, like, me and him are gonna fucking toe the line, and we're gonna figure it out. And I think I have the skills. I'm faster. I think my footwork's better. My hand speed, everything. You know what I mean? And I think if him and I decide we're just gonna duck and chuck in the middle, I think I can sit him down, and I can see it happening pretty early in the fight.
You just answered my next question. So, who are some of your main training partners this time? Same crew?
Yeah. I mean, I'm with my buddy Chad Ducker and Dan Ige. Those are two guys that I've leaned on a lot this camp. Both because they're both 45 pounders. They're both bigger. They both have big right hands. They're good everywhere. You know what I mean? They're great. Chad's like a up and coming guy. Came from Michigan. He just keeps getting better and better and better, to the point where it's like, he's one of my hardest rounds, and he was a guy that, like, when I met, he didn't know a whole lot about the sport, but he's been working hard. And then, Dan Ige, obviously, he's a stud, like the Hawaiian fucking punch king. The dude throws leather, he throws hard, so it was a great look for what I'm getting into. And, you know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like I could be more prepared, it's just on me to show up on fight night and get the job done at this point.
You're gonna have 2 fights done by May. You trying to get two more?
Yeah, let's get a couple more this year. If I'm healthy, like, I want to fight. I'm not getting any younger. And I've fought consistently like 2 times a year. Throughout my UFC career, like, I want to get 4 fights this year. I want to make some real money. I want to fight out this contract. Fighting out this contract. This fight, next fight. This fight, I'm pretty close to being what I kind of set out to be in the sport, which is a millionaire, and I'm getting dangerously close to that. After this fight, I will maybe be there. Maybe I could stretch some numbers out and I could be there. But I mean, that's the goal, right? I want to have $1 million in investments. I want to get to the point where I have a solid passive income, and like, so when I leave the sport, like, I don't have to be like, well, what the fuck am I gonna do now? I don't have to do shit. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't like put my body and my mind and everything through hell. You know what I mean? So that I could go work another fucking job after this. You know what I mean? I've been dedicated to this for 10 years of my life, and I want to make it turn into something. You know what I mean? I want to be able to take care of the people that I care about, and make good investments. But in order to do that, I got to go out and fucking beat people's asses. And at this point, like, I've like I said earlier, I've made the mistakes. I've fucked up. I felt the helplessness and the pity, the self-pity for myself, after, making a mistake in the cage, and like, I'm not doing this shit anymore, like I know what's at stake here. Like, this is an opportunity for me to like drag myself and my family out of poverty, and like, I will not take that for granted.
Finally, I just wanted your thoughts on Song Yadong last weekend. What do you think of his fight?
He looked great, man. He looked really great. I like posted a picture of me like ground and pounding him, like beating the hell out of him. But like obviously his grappling's got better. You know what I mean? He's got a good team. At Alpha Male, I know his coaches. They're great guys. Yeah, I'm not surprised. He looked a lot better. He looked really good against Simone. But at the same time, man, I thought Ricky Simone looked like shit. Could have just been, he got smacked by Song early, and he got super tentative, and he looked super hesitant there. But he was just throwing a jab and trying to shoot. There was really not a whole lot. There was no chain wrestling. There was nothing going on. You know what I mean? So like, do I think that if I fought Song again, I could go take him down and beat him up the same way I did the first time? Yeah, I do think I could. But also, I think it'd be a lot harder. I think he's gotten a little bit better. But so have I. You know what I mean? Like, ultimately, I think I could probably do the exact same thing to him again, and hopefully not get robbed out of a win.
Wanted your thoughts on this weekend's main event, Aljamain Sterling versus Henry Cejudo. You fought Aljamain. Henry's coming back after fucking 3 years.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that fight, man?
Well, I mean, it's tough because, Cejudo was at the top of his game. He just left the sport. I think he saw who was coming up, and I think he's been kind of waiting for like somebody that he's like, okay, this is my opportunity to come back, and that person just happens to be Aljamain Sterling, a guy that stylistically takes guys down and takes their back. Do I think Aljamain Sterling is going to be able to take Henry Cejudo down and take his back? Fuck no. No, I don't. I absolutely think there's no way. Cejudo's, he's too good of a wrestler to do that too. With that being said, something can happen. You know what I mean? Like, Sterling wasn't taking me down either, and I tried to do some funky Granby, and as soon as I did, I was in a lot of trouble, and I could not get that bastard off my back. He is an absolute stud on the back. He is a human backpack. He's good at what he does. So this is one of those fights where it's like Sterling has that X factor. You know what I mean? If he can get on your back, you're in a lot of trouble. Is he going to be able to do that to Henry Cejudo? I don't know. But if I had to guess, I think that Aljamain Sterling can actually outpoint Henry Cejudo on his feet. I know that seems hard to believe, but Sterling's long. He throws a lot of strikes. He never really commits to anything. He's really just trying to get you to step in so he can level change on you. But he tallies points up, and Cejudo's been out of the game a long time. You know what I mean? Like, and Sterling's been getting ready for Peter Yan and guys that I think are a lot more scary than Henry Cejudo. So I honestly think Sterling can pull this off. You know what I mean? And if he does, dude, kudos to him. I mean, I hope he does the right thing and he fucking lets his boy Merab get a shot at the belt. But who knows? We'll see.
He cuts a lot of weight. You cut a lot of weight. When you were in there with him, like, did you feel his how big the dude is?
Sterling?
Yeah.
No, I think we were about the same way. I think we were both like 50s when we got in the cage. And I had an awful weight cut, and I was like shitting my brains out, fucking puking like before the fight. So, yeah, I didn't necessarily feel like Aljamain Sterling was strong. No. The biggest guy I've ever fought was Song Yadong. Song Yadong was a fucking monster. He is big. I want to say I was like 158 pounds in the cage, and he was like 165. Song Yadong is the biggest 35-pounder in the world, I think. I mean, Simone's a pretty big kid. He's wide, thick dude. Song Yadong made him look like a little kid in there. Like, I mean, he's big. He's really big, and he's explosive. Yeah, Song Yadong, I think, honestly, is the biggest 35-pounder in the world.
I was at the weigh-ins, and at first I thought Ricky was bigger, right? But the way that Song Yadong rehydrates, that dude is fucking humongous.
Yeah, he's massive. He's the only guy I think I've ever like stood across the cage and like, I'm not like mugging the guy I'm gonna fight, right? Like, what's the point? I'm about to get in a fight. You know what I mean? I'm just kind of in the moment. And I remember looking across the cage and seeing Song Yadong and being like, holy fuck. That is not the same guy I weighed in with yesterday. You know what I mean? Like, that just, he's fucking big. Like, that's the first time I've ever been in a cage and been like intimidated by how big somebody was the next day. I'm like, fuck. I hope he's looking across at me thinking the same thing, because I mean, he was like fucking huge. That's a big boy.
What do you think Song Yadong's ceiling is?
I mean, if he keeps at this at 25 years old, as long as he doesn't get in a bunch of wars, where he starts getting chinny, which you do see happen to a lot of guys that get into the UFC that young and like kind of move up that fast. I mean, you've seen it. I'm not gonna name any names, but you've seen it happen to a lot of different guys. Every time they get hit, they go down. I think as long as Song protects his chin, he could be a UFC champion. I don't really see any reason why not. You know what I mean? I don't think it's gonna happen in 2 years. I think it might be a few years from now, but I think he could do it. But like I said, he's got to protect his chin. That's what all these guys, man, they're all like, they want to get in here and they want to freaking do all the hard sparring and just get into the war every day in the gym. But every single time you get hit, like, you are that much more likely to, go down on that next hard shot. So like, you got to protect your fucking brains in the sport. These guys, like, this so dumb. We don't need to like we're fucking professional fighters. Do we really need to figure out how tough we are in the gym every day? I mean, you see this stupid shit. I see these fucking idiots going at it every single day in here. And I'm just like, man, like as soon as you get your opportunity, you might be one bad motherfucker, but then some dude check hooks you and you just plop down on the ground and it's over. You know what I mean? Like, and then, you know what I mean? You're in a diaper when you're 35. Like, it's sad. So, don't be that fucking guy. You know what I mean? Like, if someone's gonna hit me really hard in the fucking head, it's gonna be for money. You know what I mean? Inside the cage. You know what I mean? Not in here in the gym.
Awesome, Cody. Thank you so much for your time, man. I really appreciate it. If you want to plug your social media, if you have any sponsors you want to plug, if you want to thank anybody, the floor is yours.
I just like to thank me. That's it.
Make sure to subscribe to the LowKick MMA YouTube channel for all the latest news, event previews, and interviews with some of the biggest stars in MMA.